Hey everybody, it's Tuesday. That means it's League night. It is gorgeous outside. It's like 13 degrees at the end of February, which is crazy. So of course I feel like I'm fighting off a cold when it becomes amazing outside, but hopefully that doesn't affect League, because it's League night. As you guys saw, I opened quite a pack last week in black-white, just like the other week, so getting pretty lucky with packs. So we're taking out some cards. We're taking out Raptor Companion. It's got sharp teeth, but it ain't a vampire. It's aggro, but it's not a vampire. We want to go full vampires. Ditto for Sun Sentinel. It's fine and aggressive, but there's vampires that we can play now. We took out a vampire, Queen's Bay Soldier, because it is just a 2/2 for 2. The literal only reason we're keeping it in is because it says vampire, but no more. And finally, we're taking out the Golden Demise that we traded for. This will be at the top of my pile to sideboard in some matches, but not every match. There are some dinosaur decks out there, and it doesn't work that great in those dinosaur decks, but then there are some vampire decks, merfolk decks, where this will be amazing to side in. So top of my pile for sideboarding, but not gonna stay in the main deck. Coming in are a Baffling End, a little bit more removal. I'm slightly removal light. I'm at like 16, 17 creatures, I think. So there's not too many spots for non-creature spells. So I'm adding a Baffling End in to try to keep the board kind of clear a little bit in the early game. Second Voracious Vampire going in because we are now 100% vampires. So this will have a target as long as there's something on the board. Good creature, menacey, seems decent. The second Forerunner of the Coalition is going in because the first Forerunner was really good. Going and getting our Bishop of the Bloodstained, going and getting our Anointed Deacon, going and getting our other Forerunner of the Legion so that we have 2 on the board. Tons of great options with that. And finally, Sanguine Glorifier is going in as well. It'll probably be a cut if we open well or trade well, but for the moment, again, like Voracious Vampire, it has a target because we are now 100% vampires. Just not making it in is a second Squire's Devotion. It might not be correct to not put this in. Squire's Devotion's really good. Lifelink is something that a lot of decks in the league will not be able to deal with, so this maybe should have a place, maybe even over the Sanguine Glorifier. Let me know what you think about that. We'll see how the league goes tonight, but maybe it should be in. Additionally, we're not putting in the Slaughter the Strong that we opened last week. It's in our colors, it's sort of a board wipe, but it just doesn't work in every match. So again, like Golden Demise, it'll hang out towards the top of my pile to be sideboarded in Game 2 and Game 3, but it's not gonna start in Game 1. So that's the changes for the deck. Otherwise, the deck looks the same. Black, white, vampires, get 7 permanents down by turn 5 preferably, and kill them. So let's go play some Magic, try to do better than 2 and 2 like we did last week. So finished up round 1, I was up against Dan. I got here not too early, but there were only 4 people, so I had to sit around and wait for a bit. Dan was the first person who showed up. Didn't really want to play Dan. His deck is getting more and more disgusting with the Edely, the Galta, the Deathgorge Scavenger, the Rampaging Ferocidons, and he always sees them, except when he doesn't. When he doesn't, I win. When he does, I lose. So we went to 3 games, but 2 of the games just utterly filled with rares, and I couldn't do a damn thing. No Profane Procession, not enough removal, so he beat me pretty easily in 3, so I was 0-1. Not a great start, but we'll go into round 2. We don't have to play Dan again this week, so that's the upside. Let's go play Magic. So round 2 is over. I was up against Laura. She was the only person available. I didn't really want to play her either. She's currently 2nd in the league, or no, she took over my spot. She's 1st in the league. But she's on an interesting strategy, a fun strategy that actually sounds kind of cool, and I might consider giving it a try at some point. She's playing a different deck every single week. This week she's on Black-Blue Pirates, splashing green for the disgusting Hadana's Climb, another card that I'm not happy about in this format. Game 1, she got Hadana's Climb out. She saw her Dreamcaller Siren. She saw Vona's Hunger, which blew me out. But I kept gaining life, and she wasn't quite able to get through enough. And surprise, surprise, a Bishop of the Bloodstained for 6, and then Attack with Team managed to finish her off. Game 2, she drew a ton of lands. I filled up the board a little bit and then stopped playing things because I was certain she had a Spell Swindle. She had talked about having it. She had enough lands up for it. Turns out she just had lands, like 12 of them. And so I was able to just run her over and beat her in 2. So took down first place Laura with a new deck. So I mean, last week's deck probably would have just crushed me, and this deck could have crushed me if she didn't draw lands. But we're 1-1, 2 matches to go. We've got a few people I'm afraid of playing, a few people who don't mind playing. So let's go see who we play. Hey everybody, back at home because League went pretty late. We had an uneven number of people, which means there was always somebody sitting around waiting for other people to be finished, and I was that person once or twice. Always a pain when we don't have an even number, but that's how it works out. But I lost daylight, so I needed to wait until I got home and I actually had some light. I'm actually looking forward to daylight savings time, which is not something I ever want to have happen in the spring because we lose an hour, but we'll get more daylight. Anyways, round 3, I was up against Anton. Anton trying to spring back from that 0-4 week last week, and he was up again, or he was up a match, having beaten Dan. But unfortunately, his deck just didn't quite work out against my deck. I got Profane Procession out, and again, when I get that out, it's just disgusting. The card's busted. It was a mistake of a card in Limited, and it kind of crushed him. But what I do find with Anton is our matches always go long. He always sticks into the match really solidly. He makes me use a ton of my creatures before I can actually finish him off. But I did finish him off and took him down in 2. So one more match. I'll pretend that there was a break. Let's watch some stock footage while I turn around, and then we'll recap match 4. And here we are, totally after match 4, not just from a few seconds ago. Go with me here. Match 4, I was up against Cade. Cade's got the Merfolk deck with Kumena that can be pretty terrifying, but also can kind of stumble. And unfortunately, he stumbled against me again, and I beat him in 2. Double Forerunner of the Coalition was definitely the MVP of the night. It is disgusting. I go Forerunner, grab another Forerunner, put it on top, and then I put on whatever I want. I put on my Legion Lieutenant, I put on my Disciple of the Bloodstained. I Disciple of Bloodstained people for 6 for 7 tonight. Kinda dumb having 2 of those together, but 3-1 in the night. My forecast was showing that you only needed 30 points to get into the top 8 of this league, and I'm now at 36, so I think if my forecast stays true, which it doesn't always stay true, I'm in the top 8, which is great. Next week is going to be a makeup week, so there will be a video about that because we do open a pack, but there won't be a big match recap because the matches that we play next week are just for fun for anybody who's behind on matches because they couldn't make a league night or something like that. And there are at least a couple of people who will need to make at least a week up. Some people need to make a little bit more. So I'll go to that and I'll have a recap. So I opened my pack tonight, although I technically opened it last week. I got the wrong pack. Our store owner had a momentary lapse of memory thought and gave us the wrong pack. He gave us Ixalan as opposed to Rivals of Ixalan. So I opened my pack that I had opened last week, which was a really bad feeling. I spent the night knowing what I was gonna open and knowing it was pretty bad. Sorceress Spyglass was the rare. There was basically nothing for vampires. There was a Skymarch Bloodletter, which will make the deck, and that was about it. So that's unfortunate, but I believe I'm a lock for top 8. The league's still going great, so we'll see how next week goes.